nothing wrong with your television set, do not attempt to adjust the picture. For the next hour, you must suspend your disbelief. Suppose an alien spacecraft has crashed in the desert. We recovered it. Our job? Figure out how it works. Reverse engineer the technology. With the help of leading physicists, astronomers, and engineers, we'll decipher UFO technology. Inertia cancelers, anti-gravity devices, and wormhole excavators. And maybe in the process, discover the secrets of the universe through alien engineering. What you are about to participate in is an exercise in imagination. Prepare yourself. This is an alien spaceship that crashed in the desert some years ago. We've been given the task of decoding the technology and figuring out how it runs. We've assembled a team of some of the smartest and most imaginative researchers, physicists, engineers, and astronomers as advisors. Step by step, our experts will take us on a technical tour of this ship, from its controls, to its aerodynamics, to its propulsion. We'll learn how it travels through space and how it maneuvers in the air. This task won't be easy, but it will be rewarding. Alien technology is centuries, millennia ahead of ours.
When speaking about flying saucers and UFOs, people are going to laugh behind your back, and there goes your career. My attitude is we have to have an open mind. Open your mind to the possibility that a civilization could exist that is 1 million years ahead of us. I say, find me a law of physics that prevents contact between civilizations that are 1 million years ahead of us.
No need to convince us. We have the proof. This ship is like a cheat sheet for advanced physics. Let's start with the basics. The shape and flight characteristics of the ship. Our aliens built a saucer. Are there any aerodynamic advantages to this shape? There were plenty of other options. Examining records of UFO sightings over the last 50 years, it's obvious there's more than one design.
When you start researching UFO sightings, you quickly realize that there's many commonalities throughout the cases that kind of stay true throughout all the different reports. The number one thing is we think of UFO, we think of a flying saucer. The disc shape, usually metallic, glistens in the sunlight, and that's really probably the most prevalent. Secondly, you have the cigar-shaped UFOs. Then one of the other popular types of sightings are the lights in the sky. The glowing orbs, sometimes going very slow, sometimes seen going very fast.
A triangle or boomerang is another commonly reported shape. Since aliens may come from all over the galaxy, it makes sense that they would have different makes and models, just like we do with our aircraft. Each has its own purpose and handling characteristics.
When you think of a light plane, the wings generally have blunt leading edges, but the minute you get into higher speeds, then the wings have to have sharp leading edges. When you get into hypersonic speeds, there may be no wings at all. The hypersonic vehicle that NASA is testing now essentially is a flying slab.
Shape does affect the aerodynamics of objects flying in our atmosphere.
When you think about a conventional airplane, they're generally the forces that act on it are lift. And that's generally done by some surface, we call it a wing. Now, acting against lift is drag. That is the mere fact of the air moving over a surface and tends to impede it. That, of course, has to be overcome by some kind of forward propulsion or thrust that counteracts drag.
Few of the reported sightings mention wings, tails, jets, or propellers. But an object lacking these essentials could still stay aloft.
You know, there's a saying, with enough propulsion you can fly a brick, and that's true.
With enough propulsion, a craft can even make it into space. Like our rockets, the cigar-shaped UFOs would be good for drilling through our thick atmosphere. When looking at reported UFO shapes, the boomerang or triangle is one of the best, aerodynamically speaking. We even have our own boomerang-shaped aircraft, such as the B-2 stealth bomber. It's known as a flying wing design.
The flying wing is a beautiful shape, at least for subsonic flight, because it's all wing and it's all efficient. The minute you start putting engines hanging out, the minute you put a fuselage, the minute you put a tail, a rudder, and elevators, you're adding drag. Flying wing doesn't have that.
The boomerang-shaped flying wing dates back to the early half of the 20th century. Northrop Aircraft Company even developed a long-range bomber using this shape during World War II. Coincidentally, the sighting that started the UFO phenomenon also describes boomerang-shaped objects. On June 24, 1947, Kenneth Arnold, a recreational pilot, was flying in his single-engine Cessna in the Cascade Mountain Range of Washington State when a flash caught his attention. He claimed to see several metallic objects flying in a loose V formation and moving at a terrific speed, in his words. Interviewed by both the news media and the FBI, Arnold ushered in the modern era of the unidentified flying object when he described his object flying like saucers skipping across the water. However, he didn't say they looked like saucers.
Arnold later made some sort of a sketch for someone to describe the shape, and it turned out it wasn't exactly a saucer, but the term is stuck.
Comparing Arnold's sketch with a stealth aircraft from the U.S. Air Force reveals some similarities. Maybe those aliens who build triangular spaceships are also concerned about drag when flying in our Earth's atmosphere. Of course, in the vacuum of space, drag is not an issue. Looking at other commonly reported shapes of UFOs, we realize our aliens don't seem to care about drag in our atmosphere at all. If they did, they wouldn't build flying saucers. Saucers just aren't that stable or easy to control, at least for us humans.
It doesn't have any particular control surfaces like the fins or the flaps on a conventional airplane for changing direction, either climbing or turning. So it's really hard to see why this would be a particularly advantageous shape for flying inside any kind of atmosphere.
People have dabbled making flying saucers, and in fact they've shown that it can be done. Generally they're saucer shaped, they have a big fan in the center, and they take off and they fly, and it's a good show. But it's a lousy airplane. It's a very inefficient lifting surface. And they're getting most of their lift from the fan that is blowing air down, more like a helicopter. If you were grading for efficiency, it would be at the bottom of the scale as far as a lifting device is concerned.
So why would the aliens build such aerodynamically inefficient craft? The truth is, they could build any shape of ship and it would still fly, thanks to its super strong propulsion system.
And it seems to me that when you think about what's been reported, their propulsion systems must be so powerful that it really doesn't matter what shape they are.
We'll explore our alien ship's propulsion later. But for now, let's keep this in mind. On this ship, aerodynamics are almost obsolete. Maybe our aliens selected the flying saucer model for no other reason than it looks cool. If their propulsion system is as strong as we think, how do the aliens on board survive the forces of abrupt changes in speed? Violent forces that would rip a human being apart. In other words, somewhere on this ship, there's an inertia canceller. We'll send in our team to find it. Our alien ship is immune to the effects of drag within Earth's atmosphere. But even more significantly, it's immune to the effects of inertia, the universal property of matter that causes a body at rest to stay at rest, and a body in motion to stay in motion. Our alien spaceship has an inertia canceller, a sort of high-tech seatbelt that keeps everything inside our fast-moving ship from going through the windshield. By examining UFO reports, our experts can better comprehend this piece of alien equipment.
Sometimes you hear reports of this UFO or craft or ship, or however they want to describe it, moving hundreds, if not thousands of miles an hour streaking across the sky, sometimes doing a right angle move or going up and down, and something we obviously have not achieved yet as a human race.
We offer the following straight from the UFO files of the United States Air Force for your edification. December 6, 1952, in the last minutes before dawn, a B-29 bomber conducts a training mission over the Gulf of Mexico. Suddenly, an object appears on radar, heading straight toward the bomber.
Captain, bogey inbound, moving at 3800. No, 4200 knots, sir, over.
That's nearly 5,000 miles per hour.
She's coming in, 3 o'clock, sir, over.
A crewman jumps to the right blister window to see a blue-white light streak by. Then 4 more blips appear on the scope.
We got another one, sir, coming in. Sir, at this range, you should have visual, over.
They too scream by at more than 5,000 miles per hour.
What was that?
Then one of the objects breaks away and starts following the plane. Minutes later, the radar operator sees all the blips fly toward and merge with a much larger radar blip that suggests a large flying craft. This large mothership then tears off at more than 9,000 miles per hour. Our aircraft then and now can't come close to that speed. And even if they could, it would kill us to be going that fast and suddenly stop or turn. The acceleration forces generated by performing such maneuvers would rip an aircraft structure and its occupants apart.
Anytime that you slow down, speed up, or turn, a force is involved. And if it's very severe, then the force has to be very severe.
That's because of inertia. Once again, the property of matter that causes a body at rest to stay at rest, and a body in motion to stay in motion at the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an outside force.